All right, we're talking about the Cup Series at Auto Club very quickly. Yet, as I said in the other videos, thank you very much for sticking with me. Thank you for all the kind messages. Thank you for just everything that you guys have sent, and thank you for sticking on the Patreon. As I said, I thought a lot of you guys would end up leaving to where I'd just be SOL, but the amount of you guys who have stayed on it, the amount of new people who've just joined over the last day with the new $25 tier, thank you very much. That'll be used so you can have my projections, but it's to support me, support all this stuff, because I want to go live a lot more. I want to just keep doing videos, showing my process and things like that. So thank you very much for supporting me. Let's go ahead and talk about Auto Club. This is going to be a really interesting race, and I think there are a lot of ways to go about it. I want to necessarily not start with picks, but let's kind of analyze things that I saw from Auto Club, and I'll touch on, Las Vegas last year. I'll touch on Homestead last year. If you watched my Fanny Series video, Trick Series video, I think it was Trick Series. I mentioned that I wanted to look more at Homestead and how, because the trucks didn't race at Las Vegas second time. I wanted to look back at how people ran at Homestead and Las Vegas, and exiting last year, entering this year into Auto Club, which is a highway racetrack, entering Las Vegas, which, is a highway racetrack. I understand that we just lost Auto Club, no longer exists. We will never race on that. We can start removing that from the highway racetracks. Now, that just bumps up Las Vegas. I think Vegas would probably be ranked number 2 or 3 right now, with Kansas maybe tied right with Kansas. Either way, when we look at Auto Club, there's a lot of takeaways. From my opinion, I think Truex is a really, really interesting play. When you look back at Truex's race of how he had to... Truex went through the field practically 3 times, okay? Sure, Truex starts, the day 14th, drives up right off the bat. I mean, right off the bat, with no practice, right off the trailer in terms of speed. This team knew what they wanted to do. Also, when we're talking about Joe Gibbs racing in general, last year I was very much like, hey, let's play Joe Gibbs and things like that. Well, now, thank Christ alive, in terms of chasing lap leaders, we can throw one of those teams away, because Gibbs is not going to be leading laps. So it's just 3 guys that we can look at to target for lap leaders, speaking generally of Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, for me, Bell will be very dependent on practice speeds and where he's starting, in my opinion. But Truex and Denny Hamlin are both, just like last year, I think they're very much capable of leading and running away with a race at any given time. Going back to Truex, the fact that he started 14th, drove up into the top 5 right off the bat, had equipment interference on the first pit stop. He was 4th when they entered. Truex, to be honest, Truex was about to get the lead at Auto Club, or at least get run into second, exiting the competition caution. He goes to the back. He has equipment interference. Drives through the field again, about to take the lead, and bam, the issue on pit lane. They lose the tire on the back straightaway. He goes a lap down. He has to be held. He still had speed. He gets his lap back. Truex ends up finishing Auto Club 11th. But in the grand scheme of things, the man drove through the field multiple times, came back from being a lap down. You don't just get that. I mean, clearly you get it, by being in the right place when caution comes out, but you get it by being a lucky dog, by being fast. The fact that Auto Club was so big, we didn't necessarily just have a ton of people going laps down and everything, helped him be the lucky dog, get that back, and he finishes 14th. Truex, in my opinion, is right there with Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson for the best cars that we saw at Auto Club. When we look at Kyle Busch, and everybody kind of knew where I was at, to where I wanted to play Chase Elliott, I wanted to play Kyle Busch. I thought that Hendrick would be fast. It was a shame that Byron had the speeding penalty on the last pit stop, because he was going to have another phenomenal day. And sorry, I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm trying to get everything out that I want to say. When we look at Las Vegas previously in the last couple of years, in the fall, in the spring last year, and even the year before, Hendrick has always been fast. Okay, when we look at intermediates in general, Hendrick was right there with Toyota last year, and it might be more of a Chevy campaign and not necessarily Hendrick, because we saw, Trackhouse just lights out at Auto Club. Didn't expect that. But in terms of the speed that Kyle Busch had, yet again, Kyle Busch drove through the field twice. Okay, Kyle Busch was fast, I think he was 6th or 7th, gets a speeding penalty, goes to the back of the field, drives back up through it again. Like that stuff just doesn't happen. I think you should pay attention to drivers who can do that more than anything, more than like average green flag speed, more than average, running position. The fact that you can get through a field in dirty air with this car Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. is absolutely huge. Chase Elliott was right there all day. Wasn't able to get the lead, just led a lap, but was right there all day. Like, I fully believe that Chevy right now has just a huge advantage for whatever reason it is, for what they're bringing to the table. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we have seen Penske always, and specifically Joey Logano, always be competitive, always be fast here at Las Vegas, but I am very concerned about that. Entering this weekend, let's focus primarily on what we saw at Las Vegas to end the year last year, and what we just saw at Auto Club. Logano wins Las Vegas, but it's Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Briscoe, Hamlin, Truex, Reddick, Jones, AJ, Dillon, your top 10. When we look at what drivers are similar in terms of that, like Kyle Busch, right up there. We have Chastain, right up there. We have Martin Truex Jr., right up there. So those three guys, this is just a quick glance. Like, I'm not necessarily like end all be all, but like replicating what we just saw at Auto Club, replicating what we saw at Las Vegas. I understand Kyle Busch was with Joe Gibbs last year at Las Vegas, but you know what I mean. Like, the speed that these guys are having, the talent that these guys have, are being replicated. I'm very, very interested in the Chevy teams this week, the top tier teams, RCR, Trackhouse, Hendrick, and I want to be interested in Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. Yes, Logano was fast. Yes, Blaney was up there as well. I forgot exactly what causes Logano to lose the lead. I know he led 13 or 19 laps. I think it was on pit lane. I think he lost on pit lane on the third pit stop. Anywho, if Logano can, and this is very much depend. Like, once I get through this type of stuff, then it's like, yeah, let's see what they do in practice. Yeah, let's see where these guys end up starting and qualifying. If Logano, in my opinion, can show us top 5 speeds in practice and can qualify top 5, even if he doesn't qualify top 5, if he can show us top 5 speeds, I think that's a situation where, like, right now, I kind of want to be hesitant on Logano. If he shows me something, then yes, I will very easily, be swayed back to Logano. Because the fact that, I understand Logano started third due to how the qualifying metric happened, but the fact that he held on to a top 5 running position for a majority of stage 1 and a majority of stage 2, it was just, entering stage 3 during the long run, we saw him kind of slide through the field. I think Logano could very easily, if he qualifies up front on Sunday, maintain a top 5 running position. And that's really what we're trying to determine here, because that's how we land on a lap leader. And I would much rather chase fast laps than laps led, because if we land on a guy who's running fast laps, we're most likely going to land on a leader, as I said, or not as I said, but that's why I focus primarily on certain drivers entering this week. And so when we're looking at how I want to build our lineups and what exactly I want to do, and we haven't even talked about Larson yet and how fast he was at Auto Club, and the fact I was really, really shocked at how low Larson's ownership was. Entering the whole week, it was Larson's going to be popular. Larson is it. And he came in way under than what I thought it would be. It was a lot of people chasing lap leaders up front with, Blaney, Bowman, even somewhat Stenhouse, Bell. But Larson didn't carry the ownership that he should have at Auto Club. I don't understand that build at all. I was underweight on Larson. I still had him in lines. I was underweight because I was expecting some bitch to be like 28% owned. He wasn't. I didn't get that at all. So pricing this weekend is very interesting. I think Larson is the clear favorite. I think Kyle Busch should be up there. I think Logano should be up there. I think Chastain should be up there. I like the price, and I think it's very representative of where these guys are in terms of the speed that they should show. Truex at 9.5, Blaney at 9.7, Byron at 9.1, and even Reddick at 8.8 are, it's not even like are mispriced or anything. I want to play literally everybody from 10.9 to 8.8, and that's Kyle Busch, Larson, Logano, Chastain, Elliott, Hamlin, Blaney, Truex, Bell, Byron, Reddick. When we look at Reddick specifically, and we look back at the speed that Bubba Wallace had before he went absolute apeshit and tried to murder Mr. White Power, Bubba had a fast car. Bubba was gonna fucking compete for the win at Las Vegas in the fall. I don't know why he threw it away to destroy Larson. It makes no sense at all. But Reddick at 8.8, yet again leaning or kind of sidestepping to, I like Hamlin. I like Truex as plays that we should have ownership to. I'm not saying that they are primary plays, but Hamlin and Truex scream to me as people that I want to at least be 25% on. I did it last year. Fucking didn't work out at all. If anything, I was more on that. Maybe I should be more aggressive on Hamlin and Truex. But last year, dude, we got rocked up until probably June. Dover, Charlotte. I can't remember the other tracks. But like Dover specifically, the first race that I really wanted to try and chase the Toyotas, they were fast, just ended up busting just due to things. That really screams to me like I want to make sure I have at least 25% ownership to Hamlin and Truex. I think Reddick is falling in a very similar category for me because the Toyotas are going to show speed at some point, and they typically run as a unit. And I mean, everybody does. Hendrick, they're all kind of going to do well or not do well. Chevy, but like the Toyotas are very, very dependent on each other. So if I'm liking Hamlin, I'm liking Truex, I need to like Reddick with a team that showed us they had a top 5 speed at Las Vegas last year with Bubba Wallace literally leading 29 laps. The man was on the track for 94 laps. He led 24 of them. He was racing with Kyle Larson. They had very similar speed. Larson, in my opinion, may put him up the track. I don't know why Bubba took him out. It makes no sense at all. But Larson, Bubba, last year, this year, Larson, Reddick. I know I'm just kind of bouncing all over the place. But you know what I mean. Like, my final stances on a lot of these guys, and I hate to say it, will primarily be on practice data. Like, that's just how it is, on how these guys are performing and stuff. But I can make arguments for literally everybody above 8.8 of why you should have them in a player pool. I think Elliott is a guy that I want to take a stance on. He's a cheaper guy. And clearly, they're not all going to work, okay? So if I'm looking at, liking Larson, liking Busch, I'm most likely not going to be able to play Logano. I'm most likely not going to be able to play Chastain in those lines. Elliott, I want to try and fit him in there. Truex, Reddick, as I just said there. Moving on, Harvick, going to probably be top 10 in speeds. I don't see him getting laps led. I don't see him really sniffing off fast laps, so I don't think I'm going to get to Harvick this week. Bowman, probably going to be a pass. I think, when you put him head-to-head versus all the other teams, yes, I'm saying I like Hendrick, but Bowman's probably going to run like 9th all day. I don't know if I can do it. Bubba, 8.3, showing speed. I like it. Austin Dillon, showing speed. I like it. Austin Dillon's underpriced. If anything, Reddick, Dillon, Bubba Wallace are probably going to be guys that I want to go to. I think the biggest misprice of the entire slate, biggest misprice of the entire recent NASCAR slates, probably going back to October of last year, is Daniel Suarez at $7,600. Trackhouse is here. Trackhouse is real. I missed. I'm not going to do that. I wasn't considering Ross Chastain this last weekend. Cost me just probably being on the Optima. I was on nearly everybody else other than Chastain. Suarez at 7.6. When we look back at Daniel Suarez at this track specifically, we see a team like Trackhouse has. Oh my god, I just clicked out of that. We see a team who have been here, who have led laps. Now, granted, we can kind of see that it was more so on like strategy and long run. But if you look back at his 12 laps led and the first time Trackhouse made it here to Las Vegas, had decent speed, ends up finishing 26 just due to staying out, losing ground during a lap during green flag conditions, like during a long green flag run. But 15th, yeah, sure, he was involved in a wreck to open the year last year, but he finishes 16th in the fall race. Like, I see everything leaning towards, very similar to kind of heading towards previous kind of comments I've made on Austin Dillon and RCR, leaning towards improving on speed. And we clearly saw it last week at Auto Club that Suarez has speed and is going to compete. Suarez is at $7,600. Like, I imagine I'm going to have a ton of lines riding on Suarez this weekend. I think that's huge. Suarez is going to be a top 10 car. And I would realistically rank him probably above Blaney, probably above William Byron, probably above Alex Bowman in terms of upside and potential. And he's $7,600. Briscoe at 74. I think we, truly got nerfed last weekend with Briscoe. The fact that he had an ECU issue and the fact that they couldn't fix that thing really until stage 2. Excuse me. They couldn't reset the engine until stage 2. He was down on power for the first half of the race. We got and shout out to BJ McLeod. Shout out to a lot of the teams who have switched to Chevy this year. That's why, look, context clues showing me that Chevy is on the right track. Will Toyota get back up there? I'm sure they will. That's why I want to have some exposure to Hamlin and Truex. But Chevy as a whole, that manufacturer is really taking a step forward this year. And I don't think we need to necessarily wait until, we're 3, 4, 5 races in. At least right now, intermediate tracks, I would lean Chevy is a true contender. Probably the best right now. When you look back at how, BJ McLeod, look, I understand we're not going to get that every single week. Races got stupid things. But the fact that BJ was with decent speed, running, 31st, 30th all day, the faster of the, quote unquote back markers and stuff like that, you have to at least acknowledge, impressive speed. I'm not saying, BJ's going to come away with a 24th place finish each and every week, but I'm telling you, that's why I nearly always project Cody Ware, BJ McLeod, JJ Yaley, give him 30th right off the bat. I never project him for 35th. Give him always project him for 30th, 29th, 28th, and you get an idea of what type of lineup she can build. Briscoe 74. Hopefully that kind of keeps people off of him. A lot of people got burned with Priest, and I guess same thing can be said with Reddick. You got to not have recency bias at all when you're playing NASCAR DFS. But Briscoe, Priest, this is an area that I kind of want to be in, and it's why I'm not exactly concerned about playing so many expensive 10K and 9K guys, because I can very easily get 2 10K guys and get in 7K range and land on Priest, land on Briscoe, hell, even land on Suarez or Buescher, who has shown speed at high wear racetracks as of late. When we look back at, let's go ahead and look at these real fast if I still have them open. I do not. Anyway, we've seen Buescher have phenomenal speed on some of these tracks, specifically the intermediates that have a higher wear. $600, very easy to do. Stenhouse, wasn't necessarily terrible. As I said in Discord, even in the live shows, I wanted to just end up pulling all my potential lap leaders. I just kind of felt like it was throwing money away at the very end. That's why I pulled the Bell line. That's why I pulled the Stenhouse line. But in general, look, Stenhouse, qualified second. It's on very rare occasions he's going to get the lead, but in the situation here where he's $6,800, probably going to qualify in a decent place, probably 18th, 19th or something. $6,800 is not bad at all. Gibbs, as I said, not going to compete for laps led, but $6,600 should be able to easily pay that off. Same thing with Eric Amarola. I love the expensive guys, 9 and 10K ranges. I like the low 7 and 6s. I can foresee myself building lines laying in those areas. Harrison Burton, Michael McDowell. Played McDowell last week just to try and get things different. Very, very shocked with the finish that Harrison Burton had on that last green flag run there. Very impressive. Not sure if that's going to happen again. LaJoie, yet again, Chevy team. I shit on LaJoie a lot, but the fact, he ran top 15 laps all day. That is insane. Unbelievable. It has to be Chevy, right? It's not like these independent teams are Trackhouse, Hendrick, Spire, BJ. It's not like they're all making gains together. What is the similarity between all the? It's Chevy. That manufacturer is killing it right now with the changes that they made. I believe it has to either be the aero change that they made to the nose, because the nose is much more rounded off than it was last year. That's wildly impressive. That's crazy. He's $5,200. LaJoie, dude, he can pay that off easily. because he'll most likely qualify unless he started 12th this past week, finished 14th. That's like 28 points, 26, 27, somewhere around there. If he qualifies like 19th, he's gonna have speed to finish 16th easily, 15th easily, and pay that off easily. So LaJoy, Gillen's fine. Even Burton, like the fact that I could very easily see a lineup going like LaJoy, Suarez, Reddick, then we get Larson in there. That leaves you $8,800. Like, we have so many awesome plays this week. It's going to be really fun building lines. And yes, practice will lean us towards more people and less people. But, man, my main takeaways, I want to have some Hamlin. I want to have some Truex. I want to have some Reddick ownership because I think I should. Past that, unless Penske shows me speed in practice and qualifying, I will probably be underweight on them, and I want to absolutely slam the Chevys. They are so fast. I think it'd be very dumb to ignore the potential that these Chevy teams have right now. That's my early preview for Auto Club. I'm sorry that it took so long. Later, a lot of things happened, but I'm here. Thank you very much for supporting me, being here, watching these videos, and join the Patreon. And if you haven't already, consider doing it. If I help you at all, consider doing that, or donate through the live shows and stuff. Whatever you want to do, I appreciate you guys being here, giving me your attention and listening to me, whether you're in the car, at the gym, just chilling at your computer, whatever the case may be. Thank you for being here, and hopefully this will give you some ideas entering this weekend at Auto Club, not Auto Club, at Las Vegas. And I will see you guys in the live shows for all 3 series this weekend. See you guys then.